want some
recording in progress.
And we are now live.
Yeah, we are live now. Crystal, why are you running away?
Yeah, where'd Crystal go?
Yeah,
I'm out of here.
we just lost half our viewers.
Yeah. Nobody really wants to actually like look at
No.
Ab and I.
No.
Well, the good news is like if nobody actually wants to look at us, they have the option of listening to the podcast. And I'm also recording on my phone. So that'll be maybe I'll put the link in the description for people that are like, yeah, I don't want to look at these two ugly guys. We'll just
Yeah, just in case.
yeah.
Just want to see you guys.
It'd be like, hey. Is that too much? It'd be like this the whole time.
No, just like
Yeah.
You ever-
Dude, it's like talking to my mom on FaceTime. It's like
Oh,
this. She's like, hey, hello. You know, and it's just her ear or something. I'm like, oh my God.
I love the work meetings or the different Zoom meetings that we have. And it's like, how is it that a year and a half into this pandemic, where like pretty much the entire world has ended up on Zoom, that people still do this on Zoom? You know, like you see like big noses as they're talking.
Yeah, you see their nose hairs. They're like, ah.
Or, you know, it's like their camera's completely off tilted. They're like over there talking.
Yeah, you just see the earlobe flapping. That's about it.
I really,
Yeah, horrible. Come on, Johnny, we're better than that.
Yeah, like we're professionals, man. Like
Yeah.
we send
Yeah,
ourselves to the
super
screen and everything. Yeah. Oh man, how you been? It's been too long.
It has been, brother. I miss you.
I know it's been way too long. I was telling Caroline, I said, if there's one thing that I miss about the pandemic is seeing everybody, you know, like not just, you know, of course, the people at the club and stuff like that, that we're fortunate.
But
to
the
have.
team.
Yeah, 100%. You know,
Yeah.
seeing you guys, like me, like we've been pretty lucky to do some extensive traveling, and like we haven't done that together at all several years.
Sorry, brother. My wife started zooming. I'm like, who's that chatting? I'm like, yeah. Yeah. Turn that yoga thing off, you know?
Yeah.
Sorry, man. So, you know, what's funny is actually it's almost going to come full circle, because the last time I seen you was at the Ultimate BJJ Weekend 2019. Matt Riche got his black belt. Epic weekend. And then it was, everyone started talking about this virus. I was like, nah.
Yeah, because
Yeah, we'll be shut down 2 weeks. No more than that.
yeah. It's only gonna take 2 weeks to flatten the curve.
How many times have we heard that, right?
I think they
It's
made it say they meant 2 years is I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what they meant too. But are you gonna go to the Ultimate BJJ Weekend or what?
yeah, I'm going to that in September.
Yeah,
The
good.
I had it originally. I was supposed to go out to Chris Kemble's place, but you know what? We should have invited him on this.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe next week we'll do that.
Okay, done.
More guys, yeah. I was gonna go out there the weekend after, but it didn't work out with unfortunately with scheduling with Pat type thing. So that's okay next year. But I'd like to get out there too. Like it looks like they got a pretty big group that's getting together in the West.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I'm actually part of a mastermind trip where all those guys just recently came down in June, and we did like a tour of all the other schools. And you remember how we'd go to like California, or we're going and we're pretty much with the checklist, and we're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, who's Mendez brothers? Yeah, your school. Yeah, you
Yeah.
left toilet paper on the ground. Check. You know what I mean? Like,
Let's buy white geese.
yeah, I know. So they actually came and did that. We went to Mancini's place. They came and checked out ours, and no, it was a good time. And I'm excited to go down, because I've never been out west to any of our affiliates. So I think it'd be kind of neat to do that and dojo crash their place.
It was cool. No, I was at the Momentum. What year was it? It was probably a year before the pandemic. Probably like 2018 or 19, somewhere around there.
That's when you did like a bunch of seminars, right? A karate one, then you did jiu-jitsu one. Yeah.
And like a bunch of cool guys out there. They're like us. They're like Northerners, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's the gist that I get too. They're just like, they're just great.
Snow does not affect those guys. Weather does not affect those guys.
No,
They're into hunting. They're into fishing, into shooting. They're, they're like true Northerners.
just having a good time.
Yeah, no, it was awesome.
Yeah.
This pandemic has been crazy. Like, you're in the same boat, obviously. Like you've been shut down, no classes, no nothing. And then, of course, stage 3 hit, and then it's been like, pedal to the metal back for everybody. How are things? Are things picking up for you guys? Like,
You know what? On an adult standpoint, yes, they are. As you know, like our kids' classes were the biggest part of our program, and it was probably the one that was hit the most. And it's kind of I think the demographic of people that I'm seeing being hit the hardest, like kids that used to be, outgoing or just not shy, now seem, I don't know, just different. So I'm excited to see that starting to pick back up. But man, our adult jujitsu program is like, I can't complain at all. It's been huge. I also won't lie, we kind of went what I would like to call undergrounded. Okay, so no pun intended, but like we had to, just for myself on a mental health aspect, I think I needed to be around our team, man, and if I could help maybe somebody else get out of that rut, I think it was well worth the any fine that they were going to try and give us. I think we have herd immunity already, brother.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I mean, like obviously there's going to be and it'll be like a whole bunch of different opinions out there on what's been done well and what hasn't and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course.
We were shut down pretty much completely.
December.
Yeah, like we shut down. We didn't get the chance to reopen in Sudbury. We had in December, I think it was approximately 370 cases at one point.
Yeah.
So like yeah, we were shut down. When they shut us down for the 2 weeks at Christmas, we didn't reopen again until I think it was whatever it was, June or something like that. Whenever we got
Horrible.
the final okay. Yeah, it was absolutely crazy. We had a lot of like online classes and whatnot, but aside from that, we try and be creative and have our running groups and anything else that we could do. But yeah, no, it was absolutely horrible for us on that front for sure.
What I did find is that everyone that, like, you really seen who your core group was, right? Who are the pillars in the school? And to be honest, like it was overwhelming at one point just to see like who had our back, right, Johnny? And I'm sure you can attest to this. Like I was just,
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do. I think after that first shutdown, like when we were shut down and we got to reopen, I looked at Krista, I was like, ah, man, no one's gonna ever want to come back to jiu-jitsu. Like, they want this like bubble, or I don't know. I didn't know what to expect. And when we reopened the doors, there's literally a lineup, and I was shocked that it was actually our strongest program, right? Like jiu-jitsu came back strong. I don't know. Sometimes like my wife Crystal jokes around about like, I think jiu-jitsu, the adult jiu-jitsu program so strong at our club because they look at you, Adam, and they go, if that dude can do it, so can I, and I think it's like, oh, come on, man, and come have fun. And I think that's really transcended, like, working underground for me. I really felt like, they called it dumbbells for a reason. I had a hard time. I'd be like, I lift things while at work that I get paid for, and then on my days off I have to go lift shit that I have to pay to go do that. It didn't resonate with me. So
no, I think your program is so successful. Number one, you guys work your ass off. Number one, like
Thanks,
that's
brother.
absolutely. And people may not know that. I can definitely say I know how hard you guys work. Traveled with you. It's Sunday at 10 o'clock, and we're talking business, and you're working. You make me feel guilty, and I like to think I can work hard, but you make me feel guilty when I travel with you.
Oh, no, don't say that.
I cannot leave without my laptop if I'm going with you. But you have a definitely a charisma, I think, that people are attracted to as well. It's like I talk about that with Caroline. I'm like, there's some people that you haven't spoken to in, it could be months, and when you pick up the phone, it's like you spoke to them like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
You have
Johnny, you're that guy for me, brother.
Yeah, so I appreciate it, man. So like, no, I'm not surprised. In our case, our kickboxing, mainly because that's what was able to be done socially distanced
Outside, yeah.
And we did outside. That was horrible, by the way. I know our members actually loved it, and you know what? I loved the fact that they loved it, but I hated moving the bags in and out every day, and they took such a shit kicking. Like these, as you know, those bags are like $700 still standing.
No,
like they got gravel grooves in them. Like
I was looking at yours and I was jealous because I have a ton of stairs. We're in the lower level, right? I'm like fucking dragging crap out there, and we're doing yoga classes. Like it was so ridiculous because how we have a patio, right?
Yeah.
Well, they were telling us, we're arguing with the health unit that we could be no more than 9 people on the patio, right? 3 meters apart.
Yeah.
But you could run a simultaneous class. They were okay with that, as long as it was a different instructor. I'm like, so you mean you want to expose more people like that? That's what you'd want? Like, anyways, I had them going at one point when I said, you guys are like the cops, right? Especially, you remember when they got their like Cracker Jack badges out of the in the mail, like when all the police forces said they weren't going to enforce any of the rules.
Yeah.
They came knocking at our door, and I was like, listen, so you guys are like the cops now, right? And they're like, yep, yep. And I said, so when I get pulled over, I plead with them. I said, my wife never gets a ticket, but I can't bat my eyelashes enough to get off. So it doesn't work. So I said, the cops always have a choice, right? If it was like 10 over, or if it was like I was going 30 over, and then they have the choice to reduce it or whatever, right? So I'm trying to plead with this girl saying like, we have to be 3 meters apart. I said, what if we run a meditation class? Because the whole 3 meters apart premise was if you are breathing heavily, right? We're gonna be like all over each other, doing yoga because we weren't allowed to do anything else really, or kickboxing. And she was like, no, meditation's the same. You're just sitting in your spot. So we had squares segregated, all this stuff. I'm like, so if I just put people in the grass like 20 feet away, because we have a PA system, that's not okay. They were going to charge us for any spectator that we had, because we do outdoor yoga, right? We do outdoor yoga at the waterfront. And the previous year, they were going nuts because
Oh yeah, you had like 100 people there.
we had Father's Day was our biggest, and it was over 220 or something like that. It was crazy. I was like, oh my God. And it'd be like Crystal's like, you know, and turn to the left. And then when she turned left, I'm there with the cops, like with all my letters saying, because
Let's
I
go
got
one more.
yeah, I got the regional health inspector to sign off that there was no limit on an outdoor capacity. And I'm showing them the letter. The mayor's all over us. The mayor's tagging us saying, do not support this event. It was kind of crazy. And then to say like we had over
Fair.
220.
Thank you for the advertising. You know, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. I was like, yeah.
That's free advertising. You didn't have to pay him for that?
No commission, no nothing, no royalties on it.
Oh,
So
well,
I feel like, you know, sometimes I I feel like it was just like yesterday that we closed. Like I don't know if it's this whole time warp. I know other people feel the same about how, I don't know, man. You think about like, oh yeah, like last, I don't know, a few days ago, a couple weeks ago, a month ago, it seems like that's when the last time I seen you. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know why it feels like that, Johnny. Maybe I'm just talking out of turn by saying that, but I just feel like everyone just hit pause on their life and just get through the next 2 weeks and the next 2 weeks. And I feel like when everyone starts getting out of that rut, which I feel like is imminent, I feel like everyone's like, September, I'm back. Like that's what the consensus for us, at least with any of our follow-ups, is like they're back when school starts. As
Yeah.
long as, you know, things
Well,
stay.
I think, no, I definitely hear you. Like a couple of thoughts I have on that. I think that with this, you know, last, 18 months, the rules, the guidelines, even the social norms, acceptances, everything was changing so rapidly that it was so hard to keep up. You know, that as a business, like trying to offer services, you know, we were constantly changing. And, you know, I think that's what, you know, I don't know you, I'm tired. Like I am honestly tired. Normally the summer is a time, well, I guess with summer camps, it's not really a time to relax, but normally like, you know, you have that little bit of a calm before the September and
Yeah.
the rush. Like I am honestly exhausted from just, you know, the mental game of having to deal with the constant fluid changes and, you know, looking to just try and survive in business. Like, and you know, also be relevant with your membership and try and give them what they're looking for. But you're right though. We also had a we had a very solid group of people that literally followed us and stuck with us from like literally the beginning.
Kept us alive, brother.
100%. Like people don't understand. And I think, sorry, let me rephrase that. I think that not a lot of people understand, you know, how grateful we are for the community that has helped us get through this last year and a half, right? Like I saw
I don't even feel like we deserved it at times. You know what I mean? Like They're like, you supported us, it's our turn to support you. And I'd be like,
Oh,
yeah, someone's cutting an onion in here. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm not crying, you're crying.
I'm like,
Yeah, no, I-
let's train, right? And then and
Yeah.
it was tough for me to, because I'm the type that I don't want to ask for help, and it was hard to like even accept it at sometimes, you know. And then when we, you know, we defied lockdown orders and we stayed open at one point.
yeah, I saw that you guys are doing that. I was like, Adam has balls. I'm like,
Ah,
I was
I-
like, honestly, I was like, I don't know how he's doing that. I was like, I had public health come in here actually on Wednesday. They did a complete walkthrough, like literally taking pictures of our floors with the 6 foot spacers, taking pictures of our signs on the walls,
yeah.
copies of my waivers. And I'm like, I was stressed out just talking to them. I'm like, is everything okay? They're like, yeah, no, everything's perfect. Everything's right up to code. I'm like, okay, cool. You know, and meanwhile, you know, you're across, a few hours away and you're like saying, you know what, we're not closing this time. I'm like, Jesus Christ, Adam, you're gonna get a fine. Like,
And we did, but then we were open for almost 6 weeks.
mhm.
So to me, I was kind of like, cost of doing business. And you know what was interesting is like I was trying everything. We had our lawyers involved in everything because I was like, can we operate under a mental health exemption? Can we operate under, you know, different things? And, and my lawyer comes to yoga sometimes and he's like, Adam, I know what you're doing. He's like, it'd be half bad. You're trying to sell paint and you're like, Home Depot where Walmart sells paint, but you're like literally like murdering people on the mats and like smiling and being like, "Ah." Yeah, I am this close, you know, like,
Yeah.
so we kind of were like, okay. And, you know, what about like our, you know, when people talk about like, you know, their civil rights and stuff like that, they're like, hi, you're incorporated. Ontario Corporation doesn't apply on that. And then once I realized that what they could do,
Shut it down.
I was like, "Ugh," and
Yeah.
so they find us, and the next day they were at the door at lunch because I was like, just mail these. I'm like, just mail them. It doesn't even matter. But once I found out that they had to physically hand it to us, bro, I didn't open the door. We have like a Ring camera. We're all talking to them. I said, I'm not even there. He's like, I just watched 25 to 30 people come inside. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And they were trying and I was like sneaking people out the back door and I'm going, what am I doing? Like, what is this? So when we had I called the lawyer right after because they're trying to give us a $10,000 fine the next day. And I was like, I can't eat that.
Yeah.
So we just, yeah,
Shut it down.
we shut it down.
No, I get it. And it's interesting because like I have like two frames of thought. Number one, I've learned that I'm far more conservative than I ever thought I was. You know,
Yeah.
I'm definitely a rule follower. You know, like I get upset and I occasionally am like, I need an explanation. But at the end of the day, I think it's in my genetic makeup to just complain and comply. You know what I mean? Like it's
Feel like
it's probably a good thing
that's
overall.
bullshit, but okay.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. Like, you know, I feel like it's my management hat. You know, I'm gonna complain, but I'm gonna comply. Like I
But,
need to know some more.
you know, one of what was funny is actually how many other people they'd be like, yeah, man, we're coming in. But then when all the other things start popping out, like if you get caught doing something like that, you could lose your job potentially. Whatever.
Yeah.
There's a number of different professions that had that, which I'm sure yours would have been like that. Like how good of an example that would have been for you, right? So I understand. I was actually wondering if I'd end up in the Sudbury jail or something like that, and I'd be like, Johnny, help me. I'd be like, yeah. Anyways, and I was like, it's not worth it. I was like, no one's even coming in anymore. They're calling us going, I wish I could come, but I'm just not gonna risk it. And I'm like, I look at Crystal, I'm like, then why the fuck are we staying open then? You know what I mean? If no one's gonna come in anyways, we're blatantly trying to stay open instead of what we were doing before. Like, you know, I felt like I was a drug dealer, like opening the door, going like, hey man, come downstairs for some jujitsu. So anyways, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, no,
Um,
I get it. And there's been a lot of businesses that have taken that stance to try and, you know, hey, this isn't
Yeah.
fair, this isn't right. Somebody needs to do something.
And when I realized they weren't messing around, they gave us a section 22, like what they did to that Adamson's barbecue guy. They
Yeah.
gave out 10 of those in Ontario at the time in April. And we were one of them. I was like, and for whatever reason, man, nothing was in the paper, nothing, because I just shut it down the next day. I was like, Crystal, I'm like, ooh, like
Yeah.
I'd like to take the stand and do this, but not at the expense of our business. And I was just like trying to make a rational decision and not an emotional one, because I wanted to stay open.
Yeah. No, and I think that's the thing, like, it was definitely hard. And like being part of a jiu-jitsu community, I can't tell you how many people would often criticize me for not trying to run classes or not trying. I got a lot of criticism over it. I got a criticism even from some peers, students, people I don't even know that would sometimes criticize. And I was like, listen, man, like every business, and I respect people's decision. I really do. Like,
Of course.
I'm one of those people that's like a live and let live. And at the same time, let me live too. Like,
Yeah.
like for me, I it didn't sit well and I wasn't comfortable with it. And, I just chose to just say, okay, I'll just go online for now. And I tried to build up that repertoire and, luckily it worked out for us, I
Yeah,
don't,
we're not some other statistic, right? Like
Right.
that was my biggest thing was
Yeah.
how can I stop the bleeding? Because that's all it was. We weren't making any money.
no, I
At
agree.
one point, bro, we were 18% of what we were.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, I have to repeat it sometimes to be like, no, not down 18%. We were like down, whatever. And I was just like, it's stupid. It's
And,
stupid.
and I find people are quick to judge or make decisions or think they can make decisions when they're not actually the ones that are, in charge or have that,
Yeah.
That liability aspect to deal with.
That's fair, right?
And that's what I tell people. That's why, like, I of course heard all kinds of things from everybody, not just about martial arts, but just in any business in general, hairdressers and everything. I'm like, hey, you know what? I don't judge anybody. I'm like, people make their choices.
Dude, I feel like we were damned if we did and damned if we didn't, because we had the flip side. We had people telling us that they're canceling their membership because we stayed open.
No,
They're
yeah,
like, I had no problem supporting you while you were closed, but you're trying to stay and you're defying. And I was like, oh, like it kind of shocked me slightly, because I was like, okay, like you can't make everyone happy, right?
I had people leave because I was closed.
Yeah.
And because they could do something somewhere else. Like they were like, I'm out, I'm like, okay, cool.
Peace.
Yeah. I won't forget.
No, man, I'm like an elephant too. I'm like, no, fuck. I'll remember that, right?
But no, it's been
But like, and that was the thing, because we weren't really like posting it on Facebook. We weren't doing anything like that. If you called, we'd kind of be like, feel you out a bit and let you in. And that's what the health unit told us. It was all complaint driven. Anything that was ever reported was somebody calling, and it was internal, man. So
Yeah.
I get it. Like I understand, and that's where I was trying to just ask people to put themselves in, like, our situation. I can't collect Kogi. I can't collect any of that stuff. Like we don't pay into it. And I was just trying to.
Well, as well as I do, there's some people that literally lost everything during this.
Yeah.
And again, I don't judge, but I mean, like, if you're in a position where you think you're going to lose everything, are you maybe going to do everything you can as well?
Oh yeah, bro.
So like,
either come home with your shield or on it, right? So it's like,
and that's why I tell people all the time, and maybe I'm just getting older, like, but I honestly, like, I'm like, man, stop judging people. Like, you're not living in their shoes, so you don't know.
yeah,
And
you have no idea.
No, and even if you think you don't know what people are going through. So like, I'm always like, man, like, just keep your opinions to yourself. Worry about you, like, type thing, right? And that's I tell that to pretty much everybody, and not just in this context, in pretty much any context, really. Like,
yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. But like, on a positive note, I think things are kind of ramping up. I won't lie, it's been weird, and I took your advice and your lead on this, where I was like, no summer camp. I was like, I don't know if we can do that. And on a guilty standpoint, bro, I can't even believe the difference and how I feel, because I would have owned that. And I know, like, how I am. I wear my heart on my sleeve. So I can't, like, I'm the shittiest poker player here. If I'm good hand, I'm like, and everyone knows it. But
Yeah,
if I'm pissed off, I can't hide that either.
yeah,
And I was like, I'm not doing camp with restrictions. I can't even operate like that. I'm just not doing it. And we're just skeleton crew now. We had a staff team of 22. We're 5 now. And it's allowed us to kind of regroup, man, and
yeah,
just kind of have a look at our systems. We've automated a lot. We've tried to change a lot, and just like, how can we become more efficient?
yeah.
And
No,
I
no, I
think,
hear you.
yeah,
I was in the same boat. I didn't, I got asked quite a bit, especially when stage 3 happened and they said that we could run summer camps. And I was like, there's still a lot of restrictions. Like people don't understand, like for us to do jujitsu and Muay Thai, like we're governed by the Minister of Sport. We
Yeah.
are 100% allowed to breach that 2 meter period distance. And we are 100% allowed to have physical contact. And that's like government, like that's okay. Everything's good. Technically, when it comes to not sport, so like day camps and whatnot, like there's still a lot of rules. Like this, it's not a free for all. And
yeah.
of
You deal
course,
with that with yoga. Yoga, you have to be 6 feet apart.
oh,
You
yeah,
come over onto like what 10 feet on the other side, and we're like doing murder yoga where we're
yeah,
like putting people into pretzels. We're like, we're like, hey,
yeah,
and waving to people through a glass. And I could
yeah.
just, people, they're like, so this is allowed? We're like,
I
trust
get,
the government, man. They
no,
still
I
get
get people ask me all the time, like, people ask like, oh, so kids are allowed to do this? I'm like, yeah, no, they're allowed. And they're like, but what about how come whatever others, yoga, let's say, and I'll be like, no, no, like I said, think about it. Kids are playing soccer. They're like, but that's outside. I'm like, okay. I said, hockey's starting up again. That's inside. It's fine. It's all, it's all good, like,
Yep.
but it has to be sport. I tell people like even like with our employees, I try and say like, make sure that, the language use, because I'm all about, language and making sure that we follow policies, right? I'm like, we don't even do martial arts at this time. It has to do with sport, the sport of jiu-jitsu, sport of kickboxing, right? Like, so that people understand like there's a definite box behind
Yeah.
what we're doing, you know. And like with the PSOs that, and I know you're part of PSOs as well, so am I. And like, these guys have advocated pretty hard for us, and competitions are starting up. Are you going down to the first one that's happening in September?
Because it's the ultimate BJJ weekend, same weekend, man.
That's right. Yeah. And yeah, I know. Maybe we should skip that topic. I forgot about that too. I'd asked Professor Pat about it, and I guess like it was already planned. I wasn't sure because I tend to, although I'm on social, it may seem as though I'm on social media a lot. I'm not really on social media.
Yeah.
Like
I think we're just numb to it now.
yeah. So I
I
don't
don't really
really,
care anymore. I'm like, oh, another thing, and I look at kind of what I want to look at. I feel like Facebook and all that stuff now is becoming more of a search engine, right? Like you see, and there's so many ads because people could only advertise that way. So I think a lot of people are just numb to it. But for me, that like, and I've been really pushing it. People are asking me if I'm going to a tournament, and I'm like, no. This annual event is like, to me, we always talk about team honor, loyalty, and the event came first for me. And to be honest, I'm like, let's go and support the team tournament the following month. Like, let's go. You guys haven't even rolled with anyone else besides yourselves in your garage or whatever. I said, we're not ready for any of that, in my opinion. Sure, we may feel like that, but we've been literally on the shelf for two years, 18 months, or whatever the fuck it is.
I got
Right.
that.
And I'm like, let's go. We train a little bit, and everyone's like, and I'm like, no, we're not even close to being ready. And I think for me, like where I was pre-pandemic, because I was fired up, bro. You put me on ground games, I was fucking fired up. Pardon my French. I was really friggin' fired up. Okay.
Yeah.
And I wanted that so bad, brother. And you gave that to me, and I felt like it's unfinished, and I know like now it's starting to ramp up. I want to host some events here in North Bay. I want to do like Battle of the Bay, whether that be an MMA or ground games or a combo of both. I don't care. Muay Thai. Just start bringing that stuff here to North Bay, and like I'm actually shocked that the first thing that we're seeing are jiu-jitsu tournaments. I for sure thought it'd be like, oh, they're not gonna allow just everyone to go like that.
Well, I think I don't know for sure. I'm sure there's gonna be some kind of I'm sure they're gonna have to do contact tracing. I'm sure it's gonna be kind of like the IBJJF. They're probably gonna have to wear masks until they get up onto the mats. I'm sure it's gonna be that type of stuff, but I'm excited that the sport is resuming, like, and even in
Oh, yeah.
the competitive sport for amateur athletes, like, I know like there's tournaments for kickboxing planned in January. So I'm just happy that things are sort of resuming to normal,
It kind of feels that way, right? Like, to me, I'm like, I don't look at anything else anymore. When I see a tournament, I see something. I used to really be like Doug Ford announcement every day in hopes of opening. Now I really don't care what he says. I don't. And I feel bad saying that because I don't want anyone to think like I'm numb to that. I'm like, I worked underground for 15 years, man. It was acceptable. Like your job isn't that safe all the time.
Yeah.
Like they'd literally look at me. I'd have, I'm working in some sketchy places. I've fixed earthquakes underground. You know what I mean? Like my boss would be like, look at the guy to your left and look at the guy to your right. And 6 months from now, one of you won't be here. And have a good shift. You know what I mean? Like go down and let's get some gold or let's get some, nickels. So we can make some stainless steel. Like that was acceptable.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it, to me, sometimes it doesn't resonate because I'm like,
well, and that's the reality is our experiences shape us to who we are, right? So like this is just, you
forge ahead, man.
yeah, like this is just you speaking based on your experience.
Yeah.
And, and that's why you get different types of people. And I get it. Like, for me, I was definitely watching every announcement. Like,
I found it was demoralizing me.
well, for me, it was like I just wanted to be I wanted to be open again. So, once we got the okay to be open, it's like it doesn't matter.
Now it's like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, like now I'm too busy focused on other things. But
yeah,
now I'm just waiting to see what they're gonna do with these with the vaccines and stuff like that. And I won't get you going on that topic. I'm sure that's gonna be controversial for a lot of people.
I think again, you're not gonna make everyone happy, and I feel like as a business owner, we always try to, like, and especially as a leader in our community, like people are asking me what we should do, and I'm like, it's yet to be seen, right? Yet to be seen. I think things change on a daily, and I think it affects everything. And to be honest, I'm just happy, like you said, that there's that light at the end of the tunnel for some sense of normalcy.
Oh yeah, and that's how I am too.
Yeah, you know what? Like Professor Pat, like I booked a trip to Brazil. Like,
are you going in October?
I am, bro.
Good for you, man. Good for you.
But Johnny,
yeah,
I got a guy. He can't make it. He canceled his trip, and I'd love to see you take that spot. I need a roomie, man. I can't be in my. No one wants to share rooms like us, where we go and it's like.
You hop down to our underwear.
Yeah, I'm just like stripped down. I'm like, John, I don't care. It's hot here. I don't care what you think. You're like, finally. And it's like we're in this ice box. Yeah. I remember Hammer coming in going like, what the fuck? It's cranked as low as it can go. We're both like. And do you remember the girls kept taking our cards out? Remember? Because you'd have to leave the card and the thing.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, too cold or whatever. They're just talking, it's too cold.
Yeah.
And we froze the thing solid. Remember that?
I'm pretty sure we broke the air conditioning unit there.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. We did.
We'd leave the card in there as we left.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Just
that apparently is a no.
No, apparently not. The favelas are like power dropping everything. So bro, you should come. It'll be fun.
I would love to. I got the World Masters in November. I'm going. Okay. So that's in. I don't even know where. I think it's Vegas this year. Again.
It is.
So I'm excited for that. Yeah. I don't know what the restrictions are. I have no idea if you have to get COVID tests and stuff like that before you fly out, or.
Yeah, you have to have a negative COVID test, I believe, within 3 days of your flight.
Yeah.
To go anywhere else in the world, you're pretty much okay as long as you have a negative COVID test. There's no quarantines anywhere we land. It's to come home that we get screwed.
You still have to quarantine when we get home? That's the thing I haven't even looked at.
I forget. If you're vaccinated, I think it's only a couple days. Maybe I'm completely wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if you're not, then it's 2 weeks. But I think there's still some sort of quarantining.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I don't know. Again, I don't watch that.
I'm
just like, tell me when I get there. I'll be okay. Just tell me what I have to do.
The rules could be different in a couple months anyway.
True. Very true.
And it's been a pleasure talking. I think it's, what the time is it?
Oh, I don't know. It's 8:25 here, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, it's already,
I'm talking to you like you're in a different time zone. I know.
yeah,
Fucking Sudbury. It's like, holy shit, bro. It's so late here, Johnny.
I know. Yeah. And
Dude, no, I'm not getting off until you tell me you're coming to Brazil.
oh boy. You know
Why
what?
not?
Well, you know what I didn't tell you is actually
What?
Sonia is officially taken over to South End.
I kind of figured that, bro. I'm like, North Star. It's North Star, right?
Four star, yeah, martial arts. So
That's
which
so
is-
cool.
yeah, it is very, very cool. You know, it's and it's funny because like I guess it becomes official technically on the first. So you know, her and Ricky are super pumped. I'm super pumped for them. You know, it's been absolutely amazing to see, you know, a dream of theirs come true and to know that, you know, I had a little bit of a hand in helping them do that type thing. So it's pretty exciting for them.
That's awesome. When they do listen to this, because I know they will,
Yeah.
anything they ever need, they're an extension of your family, which is an extension of mine. I got their back. They want anything, I will help them out. They can 911 me too, okay?
Because Sonia is, you know, planning on going full, you know, summer camp mode, everything type thing. So she's you know, she's
Yeah.
very, very motivated type thing to work hard. So and I know that they will for sure. And
They'll kill it. They'll kill it. You just have to have like, you know, if there's a will, there's a way. And I remember when we opened this, like people were like, my parents, Crystal's parents were like, I don't know if you should do this. And I'm like, Dad, like I almost didn't move to North Bay, right? Like I was like, Dad, I don't know if I want to leave Sudbury. There's really nowhere to do jujitsu. He's like, are you fucked? You know, yeah, I got a huge promotion with Red Path here as a safety and training supervisor for Canadian operations. And I quit that to do this,
Yeah.
you know, and that's where I think it's so exciting yet so scary at the same time, because I remember going to the bank, getting that stamp and going, it's real now, you know, and
Yeah.
especially to have no, like I always had that security blanket with Red Path, right? Like when I was mining, I'd be like, you know, it didn't matter because I know I'd end up somewhere else, even if the chips did fall. But now it's all on you, right? And you get that. And I feel like, you
Yeah.
know, for a long time, you're kind of like, you wanted 2 locations, and then you're like, it's a lot more like
well, it's a
you
lot more
actually,
responsibility. Yeah.
yeah, tons. And I was like, you know, Crystal and I, there's a couple opportunities that came up for us with like, you know, calendar area or something like that, that we're like, oh, maybe a second location. And then I was like, no, I feel like I have a hard enough time staffing 1. I can't even imagine 2.
Yeah,
And
there's
then like,
we definitely had some challenges. I mean, like we were pretty lucky. You know, we've had some, and we have some people that are still with us. You know, Chris Cote is still with us. He was out
yeah,
there. James Hodgin was a staple out there for a long time. You know, Caroline was doing her fit chicks and stuff like that out there. I mean, it was really good. And then Sonia and Ricky got involved, and then you know we kind of chatted very casually about them wanting to start a school, and you know, I'm at a point where you know I wanted to sort of downsize just a little bit.
yeah.
You know, reduce some of the stress that I got going on with everything else in life.
So there's only so much time.
Yeah, I
in a
think people
day.
forget
That's
that
where,
I have a full-time job, you know.
yes,
And
yes, that's why I'm always like, how the hell does he do it? You know,
you know,
like you're talking about how you're like, you look at me and like, you think I work hard. I'm like, I don't have 2 jobs. Fuck, I don't have to do that. I'm like, oh my God,
you put in the
choking
same
inmates
amount of
out.
hours, you know, yeah, you put in the same amount of hours, like, and then my kids are young. And
Yep.
so like, you know, Sonia and Ricky, and it worked out for all of us. And, you know, we couldn't be happier, and I'm excited for them. I'm excited to see what
I'm so excited for them too. And like I said, if they ever need anything, they can reach out to me, please.
well,
I
they
love that.
sweet man.
No sense learning it from, you know, trying to do it ourselves. Everything I've ever learned, I've learned from someone else. So
100%. I tell people that all the time. Like, you know, there's a saying in like old school martial arts where they're like, I have, you know, 120 years experience. And of course, you know, like people will look at these old instructors like, what, you senile dude, like what the hell are you talking about? But like what they're referring to is like, you know, if I've been doing martial arts for 30 years and my instructor's been doing martial arts for 30 years, I've got 60 years of experience. And it's kind of like it's like a pun on words, right? So it's really cool. So I tell them all the time, like, you know, don't make the mistakes that we've made. I can tell you, and I'm sure, you know, you're in the same boat. We've made a ton of mistakes, you know, over the years. So I'll definitely make sure they're aware of the offer to reach out to you.
please do, please.
Right, brother?
John, I always like doing this with you. It's awesome.
Oh.
Like, I feel like I'll do this anytime you want until people are so annoyed that they beg you never to call me and put me on a show again.
I wanna get Chris Kemble on here too. We should try and figure that out to get him on.
Just so, but without him knowing, we'll just pick on him. It'll be perfect.
Okay, so we won't even tell him.
Be like, you're muted or something. And when he's not, just tell him, yeah, just fuck him. It'll be perfect.
All right, boy. Thank you so much for doing this. And
No problem.
I'm sure we're gonna be seeing you soon anyway. Worst case scenario, we'll be seeing you in a couple of weeks up in Ottawa.
Can't wait, brother.
Take care, my man. Bye, everybody at home, and welcome back, everyone.
You guys are awesome. Ciao. Thanks again.
Bye, buddy.